backstage of the ceremonial weigh-ins, I see Dana White, and at the time, I was minus 2,000 pounds, I think. You know, I was ready to put my life on the line. I've done everything I can for this fight. I've been out for 2 years, so I thought enough's enough. I think Dana White gets a lot of stick online, and I would say the complete opposite. I've only ever had good experiences from him, and I'll tell you a prime example it was my last fight at bantamweight. Now, my opponent pulled out 4 weeks before. They found a replacement, and the replacement opponent came from America, flew over, this was on fight week obviously, and pulled out the day before the weigh-ins. Now, obviously, as you can imagine, at that time I was thinking, what is going on? Are they going to find a replacement? You know, anxiety's kicking in. Who am I fighting? What's going on? I'm going on social media trying to ask people, like, are you free? Like, would you be able to fight? Contact the UFC, whatever. Anyway, it was too late. So the UFC had said, look, you know, you're obviously not going to be fighting, and you had the option of, I think, still make weight, which obviously wasn't going to be nice, and be ready if someone else pulls out on the card, or you scrap it and we'll find you another fight as soon as we can. And what I was told is that I would get some compensation money. Now, as you can imagine, I wasn't waiting on compensation money. And at the time I was getting, I think my contract was 26,000 to fight, 26,000 if I win. And at the time I was minus 2,000 pounds, I think. I think I had just forked out for something, had a tax bill coming up, and I wasn't doing the best. You know, I would have been fine because I had sponsorship money coming in, etc. But it was, you know, shit, compensation money is not going to be great. And I was told that it might be 5,000, it might be 10,000, whatnot. Anyway, the weigh-in day, this is the ceremonial weigh-ins. So I thought, you know what? I'm not going to sit here and mope about. I'm going to show a brave face, go in there and just, you know, do as much as I can. You never know, an opportunity may arise, which it did. So backstage of the ceremonial weigh-ins, I see Dana White. Brad waves, he comes over, shakes Brad's hand, and I said, oh, Dana, I said, I'm gutted, you know, I didn't get to fight. I said, you know, I was ready to put my life on the line. I've done everything I can for this fight. I've been out for 2 years as well. So I should have said that at the beginning. I was out for 2 years, which is why I was low on money. I said to Dana, I said, look, I know I was told I might get a little bit of compensation money. Is this going to happen? You know, I'm kind of really need it. He asked me who pulled out. I said it was the other guy. You know, I'm ready to fight. And he said, don't worry, buddy, I'll pay you everything. So not only did he pay me for my fight purse, he paid me the win bonus as well. And obviously I didn't have to fight, but I did want to fight. You know, obviously I want to be performing. I want to be building my name, working up the rankings. But unfortunately there was nothing I could do. You know, that wasn't an option. But I just had someone come up and tell me, yep, we're going to pay you, which was, I think, $52,000, even though we don't have to. So obviously that was kind of like life-changing money. You know, if I hadn't have got that, there's a good chance that I may have had to go and get some work on the side, or, you know, that I could have turned around and just gone, you know, enough's enough. So I got paid, I got the win bonus. That was the decision there and then for me to go up a weight, because I had killed myself getting down to bantamweight, and in the end the guy pulled out. So I thought enough's enough, I'm going to move up. And yeah, you know, the guy that everyone gives stick paid me when he didn't have to pay me. Now, the problem is people don't necessarily get to have that one-on-one conversation with Dana. You know, there's a lot of people in the UFC now, so you can't expect someone to have complete care for every individual fighter. It's just too many fighters now. So I think that when you actually get that one-on-one time with Dana and to speak to him, and, you know, he's a human being. So, you know, I was very fortunate that he obviously saw that I was stressing about it and said, don't stress, you know, don't worry, we're going to pay you the money. And luckily I then was able to get married and afford it, you know, because there was times where I was thinking I might have to push the wedding back. And yeah, you know, I've got a lot of praise for him, and I don't think I would have got the win bonus if I hadn't have spoken to him personally, just because I think, as I say, Dana's up here and there's so many people below. People have got job roles. You know, if you went into a business and you're speaking to the CEO, there's a good chance that he'll say, yep, we're going to do that. If you're speaking to the manager, the deputy manager, then the assistant and whoever, they're not necessarily going to have that power to pull something like that. So I think because I literally got to spoke to, you know, one of the top bosses in the UFC, he had the power to just say, yeah, you know, I'm assuming he liked how I was speaking. I wasn't rude. I was very polite. And I'm assuming that he just thought, yeah, you know, it's not your fault. And there you go. There's the money.
Do you know who you were when you
I'm not sure. I don't know if Dana knew who I am personally. I know Brad has spoken to him about me. So I think that he did know, but I'm not going to say that he was a massive fan or anything like that of me. But I think that he had seen a few of my fights. I know that he saw my Casey Kenny fight. But again, I don't know how many fighters in the UFC. I think it's like 700 now or something. And obviously it's like a conveyor belt. You know, there's fighters getting cut, retiring, leaving, and there's new ones coming in. So my experience with Dana has always been good. You know, I've been watching the UFC for years now, way before I was in the UFC. So I'd always been a fan. And Brad had always spoke highly of him. You know, Brad had always told me that he was very easy to work with. You know, a lot of the things people put out weren't necessarily true about him. And Brad always said to me as well, something that stuck was, people will treat you how you treat them. So if you come in thinking you're the dog's bollocks and, you know, you're owed this and I'm a massive fighter and a big name and I want this much money, you're not going to rub people up the right way. If you come in respectful, which Brad always was in his career, you get looked after. And I think Brad had 2 or 3 fights where he'd lost and the UFC gave him his win bonus because they were happy with his performance. Or, you know, I think his retirement fight where he was obviously beating Chito Vera up, the last round got caught. They were like, look, it's your retirement fight, there's your win bonus. They don't have to do that. But they did, and I'm assuming because they like Brad, which is just like any other business in the world. If you get on with people, you're going to get looked after. And I feel like I've been looked after in the UFC. I feel I've been treated very fairly. No, I'm not on hundreds of millions of pounds or Jake Paul money, but I'm okay with that because I know that I'm not a huge fish in a pond right now. You know, I've got to build up and I've got to show my worth. So I think when you understand that, it will be better for people mentally because I feel like I'm being paid very well and what an optimistic way to look at it.
Yes, guys, have you wanted to train with a world-class UFC fight team? Not just any team, my team, all for the price of a coffee? Now you can. At Prospect Academy, we're not just doing tutorials with my boxing coach, jiu-jitsu coach, strength conditioning coach, yoga, sports physio, you name it, we've got it. We're also doing giveaways, competitions, exclusive discount codes, and many more perks of being a member. Join now at Prospect Academy.